And so they turned around and said, "It was harder. You were all right." That explains why we've all been slipping off the edges, sliding right off them.
Just play the original like I do. Keep it old school.
I'm just going to skip to Warped. Hey everybody!
Hi, Dr. Nick!
Welcome to Big Damn Cast. I am the third kidney stone from the left on the mantle in your creepy uncle's second house.
I'm the collective ennui felt by sexist Doctor Who fans.
We both smell delicious. And we're here to bring you tat, bollocks and nonsense. We're talking D23. Disney gave us a lot to chew over, so we'll delve into that shortly. We're also going to be talking long and hard, as you could probably imagine, about a certain topic, and we're not even going to say what it is, because you all want us to talk about it.
Because you know what it is.
Stick around for it, we'll get around with it. We'll be talking about Stan the Man Lee receiving some long overdue praise. I'll say it long overdue, he's
always getting praised.
But cemented praise? We'll talk about that later. We're also going to finish off our Big Damn Spider Month. We're wrapping it up this weekend, and we're going to start with some Spidey recommendations, because you all have asked about what comic book stories to start with, so we thought, let's just wax about some of our favourite Spidey tales. But Feist, bit of a sad note, bit of another bum note. We've lost another cult legend this week.
Well, two, really. We did lose Martin Landau, who's been in all sorts of genre bits and pieces, as well as, most famously, the original Mission Impossible.
Do you know what weirdly came? I was going to say, do you know what weirdly came to my mind before even that?
What's that?
Him as Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood.
Yes, well, that's what he won an Oscar for.
Yeah, I mean, he's freaking great. But yeah, so that was weird that was the first role that came to mind. But yeah, Martin Landau, of course.
A great actor, master of sort of, he's a chameleonic actor, but also very distinctive. So yeah, that was a shame. And in the same day, we also lost George A. Romero,
aka Night of insert rest of your title here.
Night of, Dawn of, Day of,
Plague of, Diary of,
Survival of, Diary of,
Diarrhea of,
Land of, George.
Shopping list of.
He invented the modern zombie.
Yeah.
The modern zombie as we know it as a horror creature, that's George A. Romero's creation. Without Night of the Living Dead, the horror genre would be such a different place. And across all medias, I mean, imagine a world where Night of the Living Dead never came out, so that's none of the rest of that franchise. You can probably bet that we wouldn't have anything like 28 Days Later.
You wouldn't get any creatures like the Crypt Keeper and Tales from the Crypt, stuff like that, because people wouldn't be doing the decaying corpse as creature. They wouldn't really be doing it. When it came to the Living Dead, we'd be stuck with just vampires and skeletons, pretty much.
No Resident Evil games. Or Dead Rising.
Robert Kirkman doesn't sit down to write a single issue of The Walking Dead.
No Walking Dead.
Some would say he's got a lot to bastard answer for.
Throughout all of this as well, all his work, even though it was genre stuff, it was always had a strong streak of political and social commentary. Particularly Dawn of the Dead. Go watch the original Dawn of the Dead, and in our modern late capitalist consumerist society, it still rings very, very true.
Why is it set in a mall? Why do they come to the mall? Because it's what they remember. They remember wanting to be there.
Yes.
They remember walking around aimlessly, and yeah, it's just like, oh god, it's not quite on the nose. It's on the bloody stump where your nose was before it was bitten off.
And if you can't get a hold of a copy of Dawn of the Dead, then just go to the Trafford Centre on Boxing Day. So yeah, George.
Yes.
George A. Romero and Martin Landau. Big losses this week. And so we salute them.
By jingo.
Now,
let's
talk. Well, we just did, but now we're going to do something else. Now. D23.
Is the winter. Oh, right, yeah.
Now's not winter. Now's the middle of fucking summer, even though I got so wet between the bus and my house today. I got wet to my boxer shorts in the space of 7 minutes. But
enough about your excitement to record this episode.
Enough about British summers.
Last weekend, in the much sunnier Anaheim, D23 2017 took place. Disney's biannual convention.
Is it biannual?
It's every 2 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Every 2 years. It's Disney's way of basically getting out the big news.
It feels like it was only yesterday.
It was a few days ago.
No, I mean last year's, you swonk.
It's every 2 years, and basically what they do is they get one up on San Diego by going, hey, guess what? You want some real exclusives for our stuff? Like proper exclusives? Like, you only see it if you're here exclusives?
Big up Disney, yeah!
That was the slogan. Then come to D23. Now, oh God. In a fortnight's time, next week, so it'll be San Diego Comic Con, so we'll be talking about that next week. And we can have time travel.
I'm sure that'll also link into Spider-Month as well.
Yeah, well, indeed, dingles.
Because we've still got
a little bit of
we've still got little bits and pieces to come. Yes.
It'll be sort of like the dessert, if you will. The Boxing Day leftovers.
Oh, yes.
Meats. But, so... Essentially, we're going to get obviously bits and pieces about some of these franchises at San Diego Comic-Con, but they've really got their platform and their own time and like not having to share halls with other things this weekend at D23, and we're just going to touch on 5 things that will be worth noting about. 2 video game, 1 sort of video game, and 2 movie. But before we start that, actually, I've realised I forgot to save the graphic because I'm an absolute bloody idiot.
Oh, he's going off script, guys. Off script, ladies and gentlemen. We're in uncharted territory. I don't know what's going to happen, but he's consulting the almighty hand slate.
Yeah, I'd forgotten to save the image where they basically put up
the almighty Apple hand slit.
The what?
The magic rectangle from the people at Appel.
What are you saying? They put up... Oh, God, do you know what's worse? I'm searching this in Safari, so I've got Bing, and Bing hasn't brought me the thing I need.
But the Bing that Peter Parker uses in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Christ.
Which then he changes to Google in the sequel because he realised Bing was shit.
It's a pile of wank. There we go. So...
Bing it!
As part of the announcements, they released... Oh, that's a blurry copy. What is this tit?
You are actually losing me right now.
I will recover a better version for you.
No.
Essentially, what they did as part of the convention, they also released their movie slate for the next 2 years.
Is that the new Disney proprietary streaming device?
No, this is...
the Disney movie slate. It's the only way to watch Disney movies on streaming services.
You swine. No.
The Disney slate.
9999999.
Jesus, how much it's going to cost?
I can't find a good copy of it. I've just been given images of the... So this is why I should have said...
Just tell me, Don Miguel. Tell me of El Diablo.
I knew that was coming. Right, I will use the blurred photograph as Everdwans.
Alright, Everdwans.
This is their release slate for the next 2 years.
Alright, yeah, get it on my face.
So, next Disney movie out this year is Thor Ragnarok. Later in the year.
Boy.
Followed by Disney Pixar's Coco.
Okay.
By the Day of the Dead Festival.
Okay.
Followed at Christmas by Star Wars The Last Jedi.
So I'm so jazzed for that.
Now this is next year's slate. Black Panther kicks it off.
Oh yeah, that looks amazing.
Then Disney's adaptation of A Wrinkle in Time, which based on the trailer released at D23 features some horrific costumes and deviations from the material.
Yes.
Then we get part 1 of Disney as Marvel's is Star Wars is Avengers is Infinity War. Known as Infinity War.
Yeah.
Then we get the still untitled Han Solo Star Wars story.
It's going to come out and be called Still Untitled.
I should
Han Solo film.
That'd be great. Just call it Lando.
Lando! Oh, what if it's a Lando film in disguise?
Then we get this one I'm so excited for. The Incredibles 2.
Yes, which apparently is going to pick up straight after the end of Incredibles 1.
Yep, which means that crappy PS2 game Rise of the Underminer is now non-canonical.
Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate that Underminer might be one of the best villain names ever.
Oh god. Then, the heroics continue Ant-Man and the Wasp, middle of next year.
That's just started shooting, hasn't it, as well?
It has, and I cannot wait. They revealed some banners, some of the banners dangling down the convention centre in that area, unveiled what Wasp's costume looks like, but no one's got a clear photo of it. So they said they're going to wait for San Diego Comic-Con to get some better images.
And Walton Goggins is in it as well.
Who?
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins? You've
seen The Hateful Eight?
Yes.
He's the new sheriff who no one believes is the new sheriff. One of the two who makes
it toward the end. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Walton Goggins.
Then we get Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Whose logo is kind of brilliant. It's an app with a little 2 on it.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
That is kind of great. Then we're getting Disney presents The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. I have no other information on that.
That sounds interesting.
Rounding out the Disney release schedule next year, their Christmas release is Mary Poppins Returns.
With Emily Blunt.
Yeah, and apparently some footage shown, because they showed some footage at the convention,
Yeah.
Got a standing ovation in the middle of the montage when very briefly it showed, spoiler alert, cover your ears for 20 seconds.
Don't cover your ears.
Dick Van Dyke dancing on a tabletop in a sequence. So, everyone's like, wait, does that mean Bert's in it? Or have they just given him a really cool moment as a cameo?
I would imagine if they've recast Mary, they'll have recast Bert.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's character is not Bert. He is a similar character.
Because
when they first announced him, I was like,
from what I remember,
okay, I can kind of see that. And then they've revealed his character's name and that he is a lamplighter. He's not Bert.
From what little I know of the Mary Poppins
expanded universe,
because there are many books. Bert is a similar sort of of creature. Spirit to Mary. He's sort of ageless and magical.
But the way Disney sort of presented him was he was stationary. He was there. So he'd seen her come and go. I think their implication being that he's of a similar ilk. He knows about all this, extra wonderful magical 2D animated stuff, of which there will be a sequence in the new movie, a hand-drawn 2D animated, them inserted into it sequence.
But I hate cartoons!
Get out of my dreams.
You seen Saving Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Yes.
Poor A.A. Milne, she says, even though that deal was done many years after hers.
I think Emma Thompson's wonderful in that movie, but Jesus, P.L. Travers must have been insufferable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I read more into it when I saw that film. I was like, wow,
Jesus.
You sound like a horrible person to try and do business with.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't as whimsical and romantic as Walt turning up at her front door in London.
No.
He did come to the UK.
They did romanticize
but it wasn't
that
like,
somewhat.
yeah. I think it's a really well told movie. The stuff with the father and the backstory was like gorgeously done with Colin Farrell and everything.
Yeah.
Starting off 2019's Disney release slate. Now keep in mind the last time we were presented with the 2 year ahead, that 2 years ahead has changed. This 2 year ahead includes one of the movies that was due out this year, the previous time they did that. But the 2019 release slate is Captain Marvel kicking the year off.
Boy! Or girl, in this case.
Yeah. The live action Dumbo, which I still don't get.
Tim Burton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Timbo's Dumbo.
Don't get it. A as yet untitled and unrevealed Disney Toon Studios picture. Disney Toon used to be the studio that would make the Saturday morning cartoons in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the straight-to-DVD video films. They were turned into Disney Toon a while back, and now their most recent endeavours have been the Tinkerbell movies and Planes 2, Fire and Rescue.
Oh.
So it could be a theatrical release for another Planes movie.
I hear those Tinkerbell movies are fine for young kids.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of one where Tom Hiddleston plays a young Captain Hook, and it's shit. But the animation is pretty damn great. So, good on them. I was just watching it. I was like, oh god, is that meant to be young Captain Hook? He sounds like Tom Hiddleston. This is shit. And I changed channel.
I'd love to get that on the poster just to see how they'd write it.
Despite Tom Hiddleston.
Chris Johnson,
this
big damn
shit.
cast. It's shit.
Well, more on Tom Hiddleston later.
Oh.
Then,
less on Tom Hiddleston, please. Oh,
Dave.
If you know what I mean.
Oh, God.
He's an attractive man.
Then at the start of the summer movie season, Avengers It says now Avengers Untitled, so it's obviously the follow-up to Infinity War.
Again, they're just going to release it and it's going to be called Avengers Untitled.
Well, they said, there is a trend here. Well, they have said that the title of it will be revealed after the release of Infinity War, because the title of the second part would give away an element of the first part.
New Avengers.
It'd be weird if the title was Avengers New Avengers.
Everyone is Thanos.
No, I think it would be Avengers.
The Avengers are all dead.
No. I thought it'd just be Infinity Gauntlet, like just implying that the second part
that can't
is more
be
of a
because
direct
we already know what the Infinity Gauntlet is.
I know, but like
We've
if the second also were like title wise, that'd be kind of crap. Infinity War, Infinity Glove,
Infinity Glove.
So we'll see. Then Toy Story 4, which now they've revealed a few more details about. I'm less reluctant to see this. Apparently, it'll be a road trip movie. It's set a while after the end of number 3, so they're not with Bonnie or whatever she was called. They're with another kid now.
Oh.
Yeah, hand-me-downs.
Oh.
Seems a bit odd. But it's a road trip movie. It's about like them getting brought along on a road trip in a motorhome. So I'm sort of like, okay, that's a bit different, but I hope it isn't two of them get separated and have to find their way back, because that was the plot of the first film and sort of the plot of the second film.
And sort of the plot of the third film.
Yeah, so that'd be stupid. Then, the last movie to be released in the summer season of 2019 is the as yet fully titled Star Wars Episode 9. So that'll be a summer movie that year as opposed to a
That'll
Christmas
slip
movie.
to Christmas. I think they've realised that they own December if they bring it out in December.
Well, they have your autumn and winter covered, good sir.
Alright, what have they covered it in?
Weirdly, 2 of their live action remakes and 1 animated original.
Okay.
Lion King.
Don't understand why they're doing a live action Lion King.
Neither do I, but according
it.
according to the people who saw the footage at D23, maybe they were just high off their tits on dental cream and sherbet lemon. But
Dental cream.
well, it's strong, isn't it?
Dental cream.
When you're waiting in line that long, you're going to bring some toiletries with you. Anyway,
Dental.
they said it looks absolutely stunning. I still don't understand why it's live action. And the thing that annoys me the most is it's Jon Favreau doing it, and I'm like, no, you've greenlit Jungle Book 2. I want to see that.
Yeah,
I want to see that now.
What if...
Which is happening, but it'll be in 2020, I imagine.
Is Jungle Book 2?
Oh my god. How's Mowgli traversed from India to Africa?
Him and Blue just went on a road trip. It's a road trip movie.
I know. Baloo's like doing his back stroke thing. Mowgli fell asleep on his belly. And 4 years later, they've conveniently woken up in a different continent.
They're connected, sort of. They'd have to go up and round.
All your favourite characters are back there. Cause,
your favourite characters.
They wouldn't be able to make it over here.
Everyone's come to Africa.
They also announced that Scar is being performed by Hugh Jackman.
No, that was revealed to be fake news.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Well, now I feel like a dick. But not as much of a dick as I'll feel if I get dragged along to Frozen 2, which is the next winter release of that year.
I'd watch Frozen 2.
I would watch you watch Frozen 2 from a distance. Good sir.
That can be arranged.
I just think it's so dumb that we've had... it says so much that Disney's original film... Like, they have one film each year that is their, Walt Disney Pictures presents, that they're original, they're Walt Disney classics, and 2 of them in a row are going to be sequels. Are so... just boring to me.
Give the people what they want, Christopher. And they want Frozen 2.
No, I want more stuff like Princess and the Frog and Moana. That's what I want, god damn it.
Okay.
But then rounding off the year, this is the one live action remake out of the 3 coming out that year that I am kind of excited about because I'd like to see their take on it. Mulan ends that year.
Where's Aladdin fit into this?
Aladdin's 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, which is why it's so odd that it's been making headline news and stuff now.
Yeah, with the Will Smith genie and the casting of the man whose name I can't remember as Aladdin himself.
But put it this way: the man who is relative unknown, which is the smart decision because you're casting him in his character. That people have a very clear image in their head of what that character's like. So you should always cast an unknown when it comes to roles like that.
At least he didn't get Jake Gyllenhaal again.
Yeah, oh Christ, I know. And also, I'm trying to remember the actress's name, but I think of her as the Pink Ranger because that's the last thing we saw.
Yeah.
There's Jasmine, and she'll be great.
Something Scott.
Naomi Scott. That's it.
Naomi Scott.
Will Smith as the genie. I'm just like, okay. Well, I guess you have to do it differently. The Broadway show takes a great a choice and decides to make him more of a Cab Calloway-esque showman, who's occasionally pop culture referencey, but not obviously in a Robin Williams way. I wonder if Will Smith's genie's just going to come out of the lamp every time and just basically go, ha ha! That's it. That's his thing.
Ha ha ha!
Dirty that. So let's get on to the nitty gritty.
Big Will. That took longer than I wanted. Let's
I'm so very sorry, but I'm also not. So, Spider-Man for PS4, Insomniac released a new bit of footage as part of D23, revealing some of the behind-the-scenes process behind the game. It contained no new footage, but a lot of the team basically going,
we like Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, the opening thing is, the best thing about making a Spider-Man game is you're making a Spider-Man game. The worst thing about making a Spider-Man game is you're making a Spider-Man game. It was like, okay, at least you're being honest. Normally they cut stuff like this out, so I'm glad that they've opened the thing with, yeah, this is difficult, and we're putting a lot of work behind it.
Oh, he's an older Spider-Man. He's 23.
Yeah, that... Do you know what was weird for me? Like, they made a point of that, and people going, oh, so it's going to be a bit different, a bit later in his career. And the thing is, I grew up in the 90s, so I grew up with Spidey being in his early to mid-20s. So to me, I'm just like, oh shit, we've not had one like this since Web of Shadows, really? Okay,
He's
that's
been
cool.
Spider-Man for 8 years.
Like Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time, I think was the last time we had a game, like those two are in the same continuity, sort of. That was the last time we had a game where he was, 20-something Peter Parker. So I'm just
really
like,
Web of
cool.
Shadows.
And also I like that because it means you can get away with having a bit more tech and stuff because he's older and is able to make that stuff.
Tekken?
Tech and stuff. I've seen mention somewhere of Horizon Labs being a part of that world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which I would love, as it is a part of the new upcoming animated show as well.
It does seem like they're pulling from
Dan Slott's run quite a bit.
Dan Slott's and the Brain Trust run that came just before that, because that's where Mr. Lee, Martin Lee, Mr. Negative came from.
Negative is one of Dan's, though, I believe.
Did Dan create
that? And also, is it Detective Watanabe? The one who's oh god, what's her?
She's also the Wraith.
Wraith, that's it. Yeah, I wonder if that's going to come into play in the game. If so, there are going to be so many like sort of casual Spider-Man fans going, "Who are these people?"
Oh my! It's going to come into play exactly as much as the Creeper / Jack Ryder came into play in the Arkham games.
Well, like they'll allude to it, and that's probably it, pretty much. Okay. God, you're such a creeper, Ryder.
Have you
she said it. She said it.
Did you know they've done a Creeper DC animated figure?
Yes. Yeah. It looks pretty sweet. No, I don't have that one. I think it was in like the second or third wave. It was quite early.
I remember seeing it the other day and thinking of you.
The Creeper.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be a cheeky little bit of something.
Yeah,
in terms of other game footage, they also whipped out their great big keyblade of a dick.
Oh, for that game that's never coming out?
No, it's got a release date. They've committed to it now. They hadn't given. Square Enix hadn't given a definitive release date for the previous trailers. What started as comedy laughter has actually snowballed into him crying. You're right there.
Square Enix have committed to a date. Fuck off!
Oh god.
They're saying it's going to be out in 2018, which means it might be out in 2019.
Either that or Disney have put a gun to their head and gone, you need to hurry up.
Well, no, Tetsuya Nomura, who's the game director, whose games always take about a decade to come out, has turned around and said, oh, well, it's Square Enix's fault for not giving me enough staff and changing the game engine halfway through development to use Unreal Engine 4. Like, this game's been in development for, 12 years.
Wow.
All your games take that long, Tetsuya Nomura.
All our games belong to us.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Just get it out the fucking door because I want to play that Toy Story level.
Yeah, they whipped out a bunch of footage of Sora, Donald and Goofy arriving in a world where they've been turned into little wooden dolls, and it's very clearly Andy's bedroom, and it's an adventure taking place in the world of Toy Story. Pros: Buzz, Woody, Rex and co look like they are literally coming straight out of the movie. The animation is beautiful. The textures of the room are exactly like the films, exactly like you remember them. And I don't mean that in the video game way of like, oh, it's exactly like you remember it. No, it looks like a Toy Story movie that just seems to be really boringly directed when it gets to the dialogue scenes. But it's phenomenal the way they move and everything. Buzz looks like Buzz. The downside is Goofy, Donald, and Sora have obviously had to go with a world makeover. Their makeover is wooden toys, and their wooden toys look like weird Kai Arts, like play figure insertions into Toy Story. They don't look right. As I imagine the Heartless will probably look weird in the world of it as well. It sort of reminds me of the Tron and Pirates of the Caribbean stages in Kingdom Hearts 2, where they were suddenly dealing with realistic looking people and worlds. And Sora, Goofy and Donald looked hilarious in that world. So, but yeah, 2018, TBC. Sticking with video games to a degree, Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Bridging the gap.
Ralph breaks the internet. Well, break the bridge, sir. Breaking the internet bridge.
That was the internet bridge breaking. You ready?
He's going to wreck it. Break it.
Gotta wreck it.
That's coming out next year, and it was an extended bit of footage shown at D23. They've announced that John C. Reilly and Silver Silverman are back as Ralph and Vanellope, respectively. Jane Lynch is back as her character from the first one.
Which means we'll also be getting Fix It Felix!
Yeah. I believe so. Alan Tudyk is also in it too, but they have confirmed he's not playing King Candy and his role is not throwaway. So it's not like just a cameo of the villain.
Basically, they just have to put Alan Tudyk in everything they make.
He's in Big Hero 6. He's in Frozen somewhere. He's in Moana. He's in all of them now. Like he's their thing.
He's their go-to guy.
He's in Rogue One. He's in freaking Rogue One. So,
he's not in any Marvel stuff yet, has he?
Not yet, but I think that might have been because he was in Powerless. So they're probably holding off a bit just to see. Yeah, that thing. So
that happened.
But part of the extended preview showed a bit. The basic plot is what's Vanellope's game called?
Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush. That's it. So Sugar Rush. The machine has broken down, so the world is folding in on itself, and the replacement part needed isn't being provided by the arcade staff. But the arcade's now got Wi-Fi. So they find a way to jump into the internet on the system in the arcade and find that you can just get it from a website. You can just buy the part. But they're going to have to traverse through the internet to get there. So it's kind of a simple plot that could... When I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's going to be really cringe-worthy. Wait, next month a film's coming out called The Emoji Movie. I think Wreck-It Ralph's probably going to handle this with much more care.
Well, also look at how all the gaming references were in the original Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Like, it's really smart.
Handled with care and love.
Yeah.
A big chunk of the movie, at least one set piece, will take place...
Handled with care, love, and Zangief.
In the website, Oh My Disney. And they showed some footage of that, both animatics and CGI. But included in that footage was them wandering through the website, users trying to make designing their avatars to look like a Marvel superhero. Stormtroopers patrolling a convention-like floor where everything was taking place.
Yes, yes.
Baymax giving a Q&A.
Yes.
And Vanellope wandering backstage into the green room where a boatload of the Disney princesses, rendered in CGI and voiced by their original actors, are all hanging out and bitching about each other.
Yes.
And that was the sequence that was shown. So you've got like Ariel talking to Moana and Mulan and Tiana, and just like, okay, that's kind of brilliant. Like they've gone, look, we get it. Last time you had to watch video game characters, and lots of Disney fans probably were like, I don't care about this. Well, here you go. Now it's your turn. Here's a bunch of Disney characters in one scene.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, but the footage was... it was like everybody was off their tits on dental floss.
Yes.
So
what happened to the dental? What happened to the dental cream?
Ran out.
How do you get high on dental floss?
It's the flavoured stuff. You just rub it like really vigorously, but not enough to shatter the gum and break the flesh. You just gotta make sure you keep holding it down so that all the stuff stores the flesh. I must break you.
Let the dental floss rend your flesh.
Now speaking of rending flesh. Do you know what tends to cause a lot of bloodshed? Wars. And we're going to talk about two of them by Jingo.
Wars. Is one of these wars in the stars?
Not really. There wasn't one in the last film.
Is it a Stars Wars?
No.
Oh.
No, there wasn't really a Star War in the last film, was there?
Why is it called Star Wars then?
Brand recognition. So...
Are we excited for The Last Jedi?
I'm excited for
Based on the behind-the-scenes footage that they showed up at D23.
A tasty little behind-the-scenes
that showed us nothing and yet so much.
Yet showed us a shit ton of location, in part, loads of costumes, in soft focus, like a buttload of setups for shots without any context.
Some lovely
and
animatronics.
Lots of crew walking through the set,
Yeah.
so you don't get the full sense of it. Love the animatronics, some nice early CGI, some slow motion explosion effects on set.
It's a wrap!
It's a rap! And the rap shit, the rap of the film being called by Admiral Akbar. With a bunch of little talking heads moments with a lot of the cast. Although no Oscar Isaac, I was a bit miffed about that. I wanted to see,
you've got to...
I wanted to see some beautiful Oscar Isaac.
You've got to space out the sexy.
He's currently playing Hamlet.
I can believe
on Broadway. Alongside Keegan-Michael Key as Horatio. Is it Horatio? No. Isn't
yes.
it? Yeah.
He is. Horatio is a character in Hamlet.
I'm very terrible with my names when it comes to Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I'm better at my names when it comes to Star Wars, like Plo Koon.
Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, etc., etc., etc.
I don't think it was etc., etc., etc.
No, but I can't remember the rest of the speech.
You were damn close for that first half. Top marks, sir! Top marks! As a reward, you may tell us what your favourite part of the Last Jedi teaser footage was.
Carrie Fisher.
I know, they ended it with her and it was just this really sweet little moment. But they kept putting her throughout it. Lots of little moments of her on set, like having a laugh with people and giving people hugs.
Because...
They wanted to punch us in the feel bags, I think.
Carrie Fisher. Do you think the In Memory of Carrie Fisher should come up before A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, or at the very end of the movie? Or
I don't think you could do it at the start of the credits because those movies traditionally end in an oomph of dun, 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 dun. I don't think it'd be appropriate.
It'd have to come up before the A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think you do the Lucasfilm logo, then in dedication.
Yeah.
And then A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy
And
Far,
if you
Far
don't
Away.
do it, I'm going to be very upset.
No, you won't. You'll be upset in retrospect, but then you'll be like, oh, a title crawl! We didn't see that in the last time we watched a Star Wars movie. I clapped when I saw it.
Now let's talk about another war.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh.
Yes, let's.
A war of infinity?
Minor spoilers. This is going off of the description of the footage shown for Avengers Infinity War.
Tell me.
You don't want any spoilers.
Tell me what people saw in this footage, Christopher.
Skip ahead a couple more. Apparently, they showed a mini teaser taster of sorts.
A mini teaser taster?
Mini teaser
taster.
Which began with the Guardians flying what a lot of the websites incorrectly reported as the Milano. No, they weren't. That shit got torn up. They're flying the front half of a Ravager ship now.
Yes.
That's what they're flying.
Yes.
The Guardians flying through
It's
space.
the Milano too.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
And amongst the debris hitting the front of the ship at one point is Thor. Battered, bruised, clearly weakened, all short-haired, probably shortly after the events of Thor Ragnarok. So they bring him on board the ship. Mantis wakes him up with her abilities, and he's like, the hell are you people? Then we cut to some montagey footage of various bits of fighting going on with Thanos voiceover by Josh Brolin.
A lot of fighting going. Josh Brolin's a big man, isn't he?
He is. I think he's trying to basically look imposing.
He looks like he's hewn from rock.
Yeah, well, like Thanos, but he's not a giant 9 foot tall purple man. So he's like, I'm gonna look the closest to that I can in real life. I'm gonna have a jar of granite.
He has got a jar of granite.
Amongst the footage is Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, ducking away from blue beams that are blowing up everything around her and eradicating materials.
Oh, those blue beams.
And
Fucking blue beams.
When was the last time we saw specifically blue beams in an Avengers movie?
The
Avengers.
Blue beams.
Yeah, Hydra tech, Hydra weapons, which were all powered by...
Blue beams.
The Tesseract.
Blue
In the footage,
beams.
we see who's shooting at her, and it is Loki strolling through the destruction, holding the cosmic cube and blasting shit.
Oh, blasting shit with the Tesseract.
Yes, so Loki's getting his hands dirty again on the side of the bad guys.
Ooh, I just want me cosmic cube, please.
We see Peter Parker's, and this is what the descriptions have said, spider sense going off on a school bus as the fight begins downtown.
Spider school sense.
Spider sense confirmed in the MCU. Everyone take a shot.
He already has. They just
didn't really show it, but they confirmed it. They confirmed it in Civil War.
Yeah, he has
he wears the
Spider
goggles
sense.
to focus because but that's because they're expecting us to know what he's got, really.
Yeah, you don't need.
But they've given
Spider-Man has Spider sense.
They've given the Spider Sense a hero moment in this movie.
Okay.
Sort of go, there it is.
He has Spider Sense, everyone.
Fucking
now,
nerds.
fuck off.
So that happens. What else? Guardians and Iron Man apparently equipping up, suiting up for something.
Iron Guardians.
We see Peter in the costume from the end of Homecoming.
I don't like that costume.
But if you're going to be fighting outside of the atmosphere, you should probably wear something metallic.
I still don't like it, though.
Fair play. It'll probably get destroyed.
Yay!
Along with the guy inside it.
No.
No, because he's got some sequels, hasn't he? So yeah. We see Thanos fighting Thor and Doctor Strange in the trailer footage.
Doctor Range.
And there's also apparently a shot of the Black Panther, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America like fighting somewhere alongside each other. Captain America specifically like in civvies with longer hair and a beard, which I imagine you'd get from being in hiding.
It's going full nomad.
But I want to see like Ant-Man and everybody has suddenly got beards. Like
Everyone has a beard.
Sharon Carter's got a beard.
Sharon Carter has a beard. No, Sharon Carter is...
Scarlet Witch has got a beard.
Sharon Carter is a beard. For Steve Rogers.
Who should totally be with Falcon.
It should totally be with Falcon.
Cut the check.
But then, what if he's with... Should he be with Bucky?
No. Bucky's his best gal, yes. But him and Falcon, like... I'm sorry, but the flirting's off the charts.
They are a cute couple.
On your left, he'll say, as he comes in to spoon him.
Sorry, I've got to go and update my Tumblr. I'd masturbate furiously.
As the droplets hit the keys. That'd be the key words. So yeah, that's all we know so far. Will we see more of this footage in the coming week? No footage leaked out. They were very strict on security, and I think that's fair. Like, people paid money to go to that convention. It's cool that D23 has managed to keep it in. It's like, if you're here, you get to see it first. But they always tend to reassure the outside world, you're going to see it soon, don't worry.
Disney just edging it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to edge it.
I think I'm going to edge it.
I think I'm just edge it a bit. So that's it for now. But one thing that happened at D23, worth noting, was the Disney Legends inductions. And amongst the names inducted were Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
He's a legend.
He's a legend by Jing. Jack Kirby, obviously posthumously, but he got a big old
Kirby.
The King. He got a big old praise session, which was really nice, and his son collected the award on his late father's behalf and everything.
Yeah.
And keeping with the comics theme, one of Kirby's partners in crime from back in the day, Stan the Man Lee, got inducted. But that's not the only award he received this past week. He was also properly inducted into the Chinese Theatre's Hall of Fame with the famous cement handprints and footprints outside Graham's Chinese Theatre in Hollywood. Just the other day, Hollywood stand.
Hollywood.
I'm terrified that this sudden burst of recognition and solidifying of certifications means he's sort of looking to wind down now. He doesn't do conventions overseas anymore. When I saw him at LFCC a couple of years ago, they'd announced that would be his last scheduled big appearance in the UK. That's not to say he won't visit the UK and maybe, do talks and things like that, but he wouldn't be doing, conventions in the traditional sense of the UK anymore. And I was worried back then of, oh God, is he starting to wind down business-wise? And he had shortly before that had a pacemaker put in, but then was happily tweeting and talking about it for weeks afterwards, going like my good friend Tony Stark, I'm seeking to improve myself through technology every day. I think I've done I've one-upped Iron Man by having actual heart surgery. You don't catch Robert Downey Jr. going that far. Do you know what I mean? It's so that never stopped him. And then after the con appearances, he was still doing stuff. And there was the recent news last year that a batch of his cameos have already been planned and filmed for the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
We've seen some of them so far. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Guardians 2 are three of them. One of the other ones has been revealed to have been his cameo in the Guardians Breakout ride in Disneyland's California Adventure. Yes. So he's got one other one that he filmed that day out of the 5 they shot, which will probably be in Black Panther or Thor Ragnarok. It'd be Thor Ragnarok, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Because they've not filmed these are all the only ones he's doing, but it does make you wonder: is he winding down? Is he planning professionally to wind down now?
I mean,
so we'll see. I mean,
he's 94, 93.
He's a noctogenarian. They've been travelling 2 days without food or water. She's 11. He's fucking 90.
He's fucking 90. The man has done so much.
Yeah, and continues to do so much. I wouldn't be surprised if he went, I'm going to call it a day now and just spend money and sit by a pool.
He's Stan fucking Lee. He gave us the Spider-Man.
He gave me the clap.
Others. Well, you know, he's been around a bit.
He said, take that, spider friend.
Take that, spider friend!
I went, no!
Take it, spider friend!
I really meant yes.
Let's talk about Spider-Man comic books.
Let's do that, good sir, kind sir.
Stan Lee, in 1962, with Steve Ditko, was
Shat out.
Spider-Man. He's a teenager.
Like a spider egg.
He was originally a fly character, wasn't he?
Yeah, he saw a fly crawling up his office wall and he thought, that's a superpower we've not done before.
Which is like how Stan Lee came up with all his superpower ideas.
He looked out of his window and pictured something in the street in New York. Like, I think that when he...
There's a man with a pneumatic drill. Drill man!
What was like with
put him in tails to astonish.
Iron Man, like he was talking about, this is like a suit of armor, and then when it came to him flying, it's because he said he just pictured looking at the office window one day and seeing like that armor flying through the streets, and the same with Spider-Man. It came from a fly on the wall, and then the idea of, oh my god, imagine like an insect superhero running around New York. That'd be amazing. And he was also big on teenage like superheroes. He was like, we should do that. Like no one's done that, and it was his publisher at the time, Martin Goodman, who. Notoriously, when you look back at any stories that Martin Goodman's mentioned in, bit of a fucking idiot, really. Like, nearly every story.
Bit of a knob.
Nearly every story is him going, you fool, that'll never work.
That'll never work.
And then they do it despite him, and then it works. And then he's like, great, sell more books, Stan.
Sell more books, Stan. See?
And Spider-Man was again one of those. It was a dying short stories book called Amazing Adult Fantasy. They knew they were killing off. Stan had just had a successful run with Fantastic Four and the Hulk and Iron Man and the X-Men.
X-Men wasn't actually a massive success when it first came out.
For the first few issues, it did okay, didn't it? But then it faded and people didn't get it. Or people understood the underlying messages that it inspired and went, we don't approve of this. We're strictly Christian, like we don't approve of this sort of nonsense, blah, 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 blah. And then when it rocked back up in the 70s as Uncanny, it found its place.
Well, it was a reprint title for a few years.
Yeah.
And then reprinting stories, and then
in the 90s it whipped its big old dick out and took over. But Stan, like, you'd think that Martin Goodman would be up for anything Stan pitched at this point. But he pitched Spider-Man and Martin was like, no, people hate spiders. They don't want the teenagers to be the hero. They should be the sidekicks. And, it's just creepy. Don't bother. So, again, Stan, like, consulted with the only person who made sense back then, his wife, Joan, who, again, reiterated similar advice as to what she'd done with Fantastic Four a year prior. And it was, that book's being cancelled. Just stick it in there. Like, what's he going to do?
But what about the book?
The book died, son. Amazing Adult Fantasy became Amazing Fantasy for its last issue. The cover star was the Amazing Spider-Man. And the book was still cancelled. But funnily enough, that last issue outsold any issue of the series ever. To the point where newsagents and paper stores were writing into Marvel Comics asking if they had more prints of that issue because kids were asking to read it. So Martin Goodman went, right, we'll do one better. Alright, Stan. Write a series for the Spider Kid. You can do it. So the Amazing Spider-Man started off in 1963 with one of the dullest covers ever.
They don't suspect my true power.
Just stuck to a window on the outside. Like the cover is like this weird pervy voyeuristic picture of the Fantastic Four.
Gently pressing his slowly growing erection against the glass.
He's not even like perched on it. He's just flat on
I'm
it.
discovering my sexuality.
He's just edging it. He's edging his
I'm
Spider-Verse.
going to bring up the cover for you now.
He's edging his Spider-Verse.
Edge that Spider-Verse.
And if I remember
Spidey.
correctly, it's got a caption on it as well, like they used to do in the early 60s, where they'd overflow the front cover with arrows and captions. And the caption's something like, introducing like the most fiendish foe ever printed or whatever, the chameleon, and it's like...
I got the first volume of Masterworks here on my tablet, and the covers out have to be seen to be believed.
So many arrows, so many curved arrows, so many big old words.
2 great feature-length Spider-Man thrillers. Speech bubble. The Fantastic Four think I'm trapped, but they don't suspect my real power. Bar on the bottom. Extra added attraction. Spider-Man meets the Fantastic Four as the Chameleon strikes.
Da-da-dun.
That's all on one cover.
It is. What is nice though, look at that first cover. That's the logo that is used up to this day.
They changed the font on Spider-Man.
Yeah,
a little bit,
they've
but
tweaked
yeah,
and
pretty
played
much.
with it over the years, but like that's the slight curved arch, like the dip in the top.
Yeah, it's the top corner sort of feel to it.
And the all-important hyphen, which so many people still bloody forget in a Google age.
On the first page of Amazing Spider-Man #1,
It's got his name at the top with a hyphen.
and then in the box at the bottom of the page, it's Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
And it's like
Spider-Man.
that throughout the whole bunch, throughout the first few issues. Like, it's just interchangeably Spider-Man and Spider-Man.
Ah, good old Spider-Man.
Yeah, in his first issue where he saves a space capsule. So let's talk about the books that are worth reading of Spider-Man. And since I just mentioned it, I think we should probably start with
Marvel Masterworks Volume 1.
Marvel Masterworks Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1. The Masterworks are expensive, but they're worth the money. You can get the Essentials volumes, which are bigger and have more issues in, but they're in black and white. But I think the colours are really important for them.
Yeah, I've been recently rereading a bunch of the old stuff in my Essentials. Because I've got, like, from Amazing Fantasy 15 up to... was it the end of the second Hobgoblin story? So we're talking like late 80s in Essentials. Like 20 odd years of Spidey. And they are gorgeous and the illustrations do speak for themselves. But the splashes of colour are missed when you reread them. So yeah, if you're going to start... I've got Masterworks Volume 1, 2 and 3. Yeah. Because that's what I first started collecting. I was like, God, these are expensive. I'm going to buy the Essentials. They're like £15 each and contain about 80 issues.
Masterworks Volume 1 gets you Amazing Fantasy 15, but just the Spider-Man story, not the other 2 stories that were in the issue. And Amazing Spider-Man 1 through 10. So that's the origin of Spider-Man, the first appearance.
That's roughly his first year, like from the publishing of the Amazing Fantasy, right? To...
And all the Masterworks ones are like 10 or 11 issues.
Yeah.
And they're in more or less publication of chronological order.
Yeah.
And you got the first appearances of Spider-Man, of Aunt May, of Uncle Ben, the death of Uncle Ben, of J. Jonah Jameson. You've got Flash Thompson, Betty Brant. You've got the Vulture, the Tinkerer, the Chameleon is in the first issue. They get the Fantastic Four guest star, Dr. Octopus, Sandman, Electro. All these characters just come, and you know the characters that have become. Like, I mentioned it in my Big Damn Love video for coming home. It's like, Spider-Man has a rogues gallery that equals Batman's.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's got the best rogues gallery in the entire Marvel Universe. Hands down.
Yeah.
And you know, I would argue that Batman's is probably the best rogues gallery in all of superhero comics. But Spider-Man comes in a very, very close second.
It's it's the colours and the sort of the set pieces you get from them. Like, a lot of Batman's deal, especially as you move into the modern age and everything, with more, it's all about psychological battles and very small, personal, violent encounters and things like that. Whereas Spider-Man's, you're in for a show every time a villain shows up. Yeah. They're all in bright orange and green and purple.
A lot of them are animal themed as well.
A lot are animal themed.
So they mirror Spider-Man in the same way that Batman's villains mirror his various aspects of his
He's a crazy person who dresses up to fight criminals. They're crazy people who dress up to fight heroes. But in this case, it's like a spider versus a rhino. A spider versus a massive lizard man. Yeah. A spider versus a sandstorm in human form. Like, not an animal, but again, force of nature.
It's elemental, yeah.
Dear Watson.
I mean, look at Spider-Man's villains. You've got Doc Ock. You've got the
The
lizard,
beetle.
the scorpion, the beetle, tarantula.
Yeah.
What fucking else?
Black cat.
Black cat.
Craven the Hunter, who's an amalgam.
Yeah.
Of he's the ultimate human specimen as with you looking at human as an animal.
The rhino.
Yeah, big old rhino.
And of course, you move outside of the animal kingdom. You've got Electro.
Yeah.
You've got Sandman.
Hydro Man, the Green Goblin.
Hydro Man. The Green Goblin and all these goblin-y friends.
Don't you scoff Hydro Man.
Hydro.
I'll whip out the Molten Man if you're not careful.
Oh no, not the Molten Man! Yeah.
It's like they're just these big, colourful characters who you wouldn't miss. Like, you love looking through a page, you're not exactly not going to lay your eyes upon a big, fat scientist bloke in giant goggles with big metallic tendrils smacking stuff up.
Love Doc Ock. Fucking love him. He's just great.
Masterworks is definitely worth checking out.
Also worth mentioning the Epic collections, which are new.
Oh yeah.
And
I think they've done the first set of stories.
They've done the first set of stories, but they're publishing them out of order because they're filling gaps that haven't been already collected. Like the first Spider-Man one that came out was Cosmic Adventures, which is like early 90s stuff. And then the next one after that was Round Robin, which is all the sidekicks.
Yeah.
Which is again is like mid 90s stuff. Like there's been a bunch of Daredevil volumes that are all from the mid 90s, but yeah, they're I think they're like 20 quid or 25 quid per volume, but they collect like 20 issues each, and they're all in nice colour. And they're gonna eventually be full runs of titles. But like I said, they're publishing them out of order so they can fill in gaps in existing collections.
So if people don't want to buy the whole thing again, they can just buy the ones that they haven't got yet.
Yeah.
That's the priority. So it's like, hey, we're really sorry. We know what it's like as a collector to have all these different shaped books and different volumes and everything. So as sort of a thank you for sticking with us and an apology for changing our format again, the first things we're going to publish are the ones you definitely don't have.
Yeah.
So there you go. You've got them. Fill your gaps. Giggity, giggity. And then we'll proceed. Yeah, because a lot of the 90s Spidey's been released in random trades of certain story arcs.
Yeah.
Like I've got Identity Crisis in a trade, for example.
Yeah.
Which is slap bang in the middle of a bigger arc.
And of course,
there it is.
The Ben Reilly sagas and Clone sagas have their own complete epic collections, which are like 5 volumes each.
Yeah.
So you got 5 fucking volumes of Ben Reilly and 5 volumes of the Clone saga. But because the only way you can collect, because the way those stories worked was that you had 4 Spider-Man titles at the time, so all the stories were 4-parters and there was 1 part in each issue of each Spider title, and so that's kind of the only way you can collect that stuff. But we don't really need to talk anymore about that stuff because none of it's worth fucking reading.
Yeah,
because it's shit.
Did you ever read the real Clone Saga, which was
No.
like a 6-issue mini that retold it?
I ignored it.
It didn't replace it. It just sort of was like, this was what they thought it was going to be. I think it was Tom DeFalco's the writer of it, maybe, and they were like, this is what we thought that story arc was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Until they were like, no, make this bigger. Like, make it stretch out. We want it to be a thing. But yeah, let's pick a few Spidey books. Because you guys always ask us, like, which one's the thing. We definitely suggest Masterworks Volume 1 or, Essentials Volume 1.
Or Epic Collection Volume 1.
Volume
And yeah, that's a really good starting point, and you can carry on any of those.
Get a sense of 60s Spidey as well.
Yeah, oh my, 60s, like Steve Ditko, Stan Lee Spidey. I mean, it's dated. Of course it's dated. It's a fucking 70-year-old comic or whatever. No, it's 62, so it's 50...
Approaching 55 this
years
summer.
old,
55 later this August.
Yeah, of course I said that at the beginning of my fucking coming home video. I should know that. Idiot.
Only reason I remember is because 2012 was his 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Because in the Amazing Spider-Man PS3 game, on August, whatever day it was, his anniversary, for one day only, one of the costumes in the wardrobe was a big old party hat version of the suit. Which was quite cool. That was the nice little things. Like if you're online that day, you could play in that costume.
That's quite good.
The only reason to play that game. But yeah, although I spent a lot of time in that game swinging around in Kane's Scarlet Spider outfit because it looked really good. Anyhow, sticking with the older run, my first sort of recommendation would probably be, and I recapped this over the last few days because I realised I hadn't read it in a while, is issue 50. Now, it's part 1 of a storyline, but it's an entire epic in its own right. Issue 50 is the famous front cover, The Spider-Man No More
Oh,
cover,
yes.
where you see a big silhouetted sort of shape of him walking away.
Which
in
I
the foreground,
believe...
small in the bottom, Peter Parker walking towards us, backlit, looking really sad, and you're like, wait, what the hell's happening? And it comes off the back of a story in which a young Vulture, someone who's nicked all of Adrian Toomes' stuff, nearly defeats Spidey while he's got a severe cold. Craven sees it on the news and is like, oh, so the Vulture's the top predator in New York, is he? Right, well, I'm going to go fuck him up then.
For those interested in a collected edition, it appears in Masterworks Volume 5.
It's also in... oh god, there's a reprint of it in something recently, and I can't remember which one. I think it might be... Meaty Pastes.
It's definitely not that.
No, it's not that.
Definitely not.
I can't remember, it'll come to me, but there's a compilation recently that was about other stuff.
It will!
But they added issue 15 at the end as like a bonus to
Yeah, they do that now and again.
Yeah. And that's the colour copy of it that I've got, but the black and white one's the essential. So Craven like comes to beat up Vulture and everything. Spidey recovers from his cold, and a hilarious shenanigan where he's like tucked up in his duvet right up to his neckline because Harry's checking in on him like, you alright, old buddy, old pal? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Oh,
of course, he's in college by then, isn't he?
Aunt May and a friend Anna are here to make sure you're okay. And he's like, oh shit, because he's like, I want to get out there, and like my powers are making me feel better already, but I'm stuck in here. So it's this whole thing of him being stuck there while Craven's fighting the new Vulture out in New York and everything. Spidey eventually gets out, and down. It's all very lovely. It's very funny. So it comes off the back of that, and it's like, oh, he's triumphant. He's on top of the world. Issue 50 starts with him basically losing his shit. Like, he deals with a bunch of criminals, and he part gets the blame. The news media really starts to rip into him. Jameson, like, triples his campaign of hate against Spider-Man.
Jameson's been hating on Spidey since day one.
And this is Stan Lee written Jameson. This is Jameson at his purest. This is Jameson at his most on-page J.K. Simmons-iest.
This is the Jameson who was commissioning, like, Spider Slayers and getting Matt Gargan trapped in the Scorpion costume, and the Living Brain, I think he commissioned to try and destroy Spider-Man at this point. Like, he was actively... Not only was he smearing him in the press, he was actively looking for ways to kill Spider-Man.
He wanted him defeated, because later on they expand on it and explain why he really has a distaste for men who hide themselves so much. But at this point, it was just a case of, he's a menace, and I'm going to prove it, and I'm going to show it to everybody. And it was kind of working. Most of New York had bought into the hate campaign already. And Peter basically goes, is this worth it? Like, I've just missed... I'm meant to be going out on a date with Gwen. I've just missed it. I'm meant to be going out on a mate date with Mary Jane.
Mate date?
Oh yeah, at this point, they'd been, Anna and Aunt May had tried to hook them up, and they both sort of gone, no, but you're sweet, like, we'll stay friends. And then like MJ ends up at the same college with him, so Gwen and Mary Jane become mates, and the four of them, like them, Peter and Harry are mates, and it's all lovely. And Gwen and Peter are starting to date. They're not dating yet, but they're trying to give it a go. But, wouldn't you know it, he's always busy.
He is always busy, that's
and then MJ and him are sort of hanging
Peter.
out. MJ's trying to, like, help him sort out his fashion sense and everything. And, she's
what
like,
fashion sense?
You're a hot... It's like, you're a hot guy, Peter. We just need to make you look like the cool cat you are. And it's like, okay. And he's like having a rain check on her. And
endless fucking tank tops in those early issues.
And this was... Yeah, oh, God, yeah.
So many tank tops.
And this is when... I think this is the first time, aside from... My Master Plan is after this, isn't it? I think, but or was it just before? I can't remember.
No, Master Planner's before that, because the Master Planner is, I think it's issue 36 where it's the
famous rubble.
Yeah, he's got to lift a heavy.
Spider-Man lifts heavy shit. See,
he's got to lift a heavy thing.
Basically, I think yes, this is the first time since then. Then Aunt May has a fright. She has like a minor heart murmur and.
Because she's fucking ancient.
Oh, no, but he was meant to be visiting, and he told he was running late. But had he been there on time and not Spider-Manning, he could have been there for her and got her to hospital quicker. She's going to be okay, but it's all these things have come together, and he's just gone, what am I doing this for?
The chicks.
Like, am I just... Well, no, because he's losing out on the chicks. He's got two smoking...
He's not going cash.
Smoking hotties with him.
He's too busy playing the long game. He needs to go cash.
Oh, God. He needs to edge it. Just edge it.
Just, no strings attached fun. Keep the mask on if you want.
Oh, God. We'll get to that later. But, yeah, so he just realises, like, what am I doing this for? Like, it feels like at this point I'm only doing this for the thrill. Like, even people I save are frightened of me. The hell am I doing this for? Like, everyone loves... He even says... I'm trying to remember the line, but he says something like... everyone thinks Daredevil is so great.
No one at that point thought Daredevil was so great.
Well, no, but like in the context of this, he's saying, like people are talking about him as a savior, and he says like Fantastic Four are like everyone's favorite. Captain America turns him on is the caption, and I was like, yeah. So he decides, sod it, I'm throwing in the towel, and it's the issue that most inspired a chunk of Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi movie. Mm-hmm. Every iteration or reinterpretation of the character has touched on the Spider-Man No More idea. But this is where it starts. And it was great because it's just this first issue since his adventure begins where he goes, the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing? There are other heroes who can take care of this stuff. Like, I'm getting nothing from this. It's ruining my life.
But he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, but before all this, his sort of grievance was more like, oh, the old Parker look. And in this issue he goes, yeah, the old Parker, fuck that. No, not happening. He chucks the costume in a bin and walks away. Immediately the next page, Stan Lee's narration reassures you that our story doesn't end here. Stick with us. There is more to come. Which I think is hilarious. It's like, well, they're halfway through the issue. I think they're assuming there's going to be more Spider-Man.
Well, that was the thing. Is like, all
really
the comics like that were
ones,
always written episodically. So even within the same issue,
yeah,
it was like, Stick around for the next part of this story. And then there's like 3 ads. And then there's the next part of the story. It's like, why are you writing like that? It's strange.
There's in issue 49, there's a beautiful caption that's like, and now the greatest word in any writer's arsenal, ... Meanwhile, the scene begins. But yeah, so a kid brings the uniform into the Bugle and is like, look, and Jameson's like, holy Jehoshaphat, like, oh my god, I think this is him, we've done it.
Holy balls!
It's almost completely the same as the scene when the guy brings the soup from the trash to the office in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Jameson is so gleeful and he rewards the kid because the kid asks for payment. He rewards the kid with a free copy of the Daily Bugle. It's great.
He's such a dick.
He's great. So he goes on all the news networks and starts talking about the exclusive. They've got Spider-Man's costume. He's framed it and hung it up in his office. Again, like the movie, because he's like, yep, look at this. Haha, we win. I finally won. I've driven him away.
I defeated Spider-Man.
And the news stations are all going like, do we think he's like gone? What is this? Is this a cover-up of any other heroes come forward for comment? Like, the police are like, we're just as stumped as you are, we're investigating. And with Spider-Man's removal from the scene, a figure who we had not yet seen in the comics decides to make his move. The notorious, mysterious, and not yet seen full frontally Kingpin of Crime is like, right, he was interfering with several operations and rackets. Now he's gone, we need to make a big move because we don't know how long this is going to last. So he deals with all the top mobsters in town and they start their big takeover of New York. So it's like the first Spider-Man story that is major crime outside of superpowers, which is always fun to watch Spidey deal with because, yeah, okay, they're not smashing through buildings, they're not like filling places with sand and all this stuff. There's no sci-fi shenanigans. But the danger's very real because bullets are flying when it comes down to this stuff. And Peter starts to see what the world without him doing what he did is like. And it begins to tempt him back. And it's worth a read because it's one of the few issues I think of when I think of that early run that stands out to me really clearly as this is a story about Peter Parker, what makes him tick, and why he does what he does. Spider-Man The Amazing Spider-Man issue 50. Spider-Man No More. Definitely worth a read. Read it with your eyes, you bastards.
Well, I prefer to read it with my fingers, like Daredevil.
Oh. I thought we were going to segue into, which is why my next pick...
Which is why my next pick
is Daredevil for some reason.
No. Okay, so I've done my episode on Spider-Man Coming Home. So everyone knows I like the J. Fucking hell, my cat keeps climbing all over me. Just likes to put her claws in. Chill out, Pepper. Everyone knows I like the JMS Spidey run. So I kind of have to recommend the JMS Spidey run.
It's pretty freaking magical.
It begins with Coming Home, which collects issues 30 to 35. No, a volume 2.
Yeah.
Because they relaunched the series in 99 from issue 1 again. and no one liked it because Howard Mackie wrote it.
Howard Mackie wrote it. John Byrne was drawing it. I think at that time, because
John Byrne was drawing chapter 1
because the bugle collapses on him, if I remember correctly, and I think did John Romero draw that?
John Romero drew.
Yeah, because he did some that area. The bugle nearly goes down or whatever, la la la, and Spidey just quits, doesn't he? He goes like, "Screw it, I quit. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not Spider-Man anymore." Not as cool as Spider-Man no more, but he's like, "Yeah, I'm done." And then the book wasn't printed it was a few months, wasn't it? They sort of left it for a while. And then the Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out, relaunch, and it was about someone being Spider-Man. And Peter and MJ seeing it on the news and going, "Huh, interesting." And then they investigate it, and it didn't turn out to be Marley, whatever her name was, the Spider-Girl / Spider-Woman 4. It was her, she was strapping her boobs down.
There was a new
Spider-Girl
Spider-Girl title and stuff. Yeah.
Like, she was impersonating Spider-Man, basically, and sort of it forces him out of retirement when she has to deal with criminals that are obviously way out of her league.
Yeah.
And it was all kind of boring. And then JMS took over and it got good again.
Yeah. Yes. Go and watch my video about coming home on the Big Dan channel. It's a great jumping on point, and it sort of helps inform the character because they're kind of cleaning up the mess of Howard Mackie's run. You know, him and MJ have split up.
Howard Mackie attempted a revisal of the origin, a story called Year One.
Chapter 1.
Correct. Chapter 1. That's it.
Which tied in with his run on Spider-Man.
Yeah, which was basically him going, "Oh, Doc Ock was heavily involved in the origin now, and we've done a reboot of the origin, and it's now largely considered to be completely out of canon." Yeah.
But during his run on Spider-Man, he killed off Mary Jane, and then he brought her back, but then she split up with Peter. So what is actually great about the start of JMS's run, particularly through the volumes Revelations and Until the Stars Turn Cold, is it gets them back together and sort of re-cements that relationship and re-establishes what makes them so good together.
Yeah, because they are great in the books.
And and this will be a theme that I'll come to later with a little tease for a video I'm going to do later this week, and also something I'm going to talk about later on this podcast, is that it takes Spider-Man and moves him forward.
Yeah.
Which they do so rarely with these characters. It moves him forward and it builds on the stuff that's come before, and it makes for interesting stories. Change the status quo and write interesting stories. So, again, widely found in trade, you can get them as Ultimate Collections. It does go off the rails a little bit. Sins Past is not good. People tend to be divided on things like The Other, although I quite like.
I enjoy it.
I like the Spider Totem stuff, and I like The Other and all that stuff. And then, of course, we get One More Day, where he to save his elderly and just let May go. All right, Peter, just let her go. She's fucking old as balls.
185.
She's 70,000 years old. She's older than God.
She's already dead. Mary Jane's just been propping her up Weekend at Bernie's style to make you feel better.
I can't let this elderly woman die. I'm gonna negate my entire marriage with this woman and rewrite my entire history. And although, to be fair, that was kind of mandated by... For some reason, editorial had a bee in their bonnet about the Peter MJ relationship.
It's because the editorial team by the mid to late 2000s were guys who'd grown up with Peter being single in the swinging 60s and 70s, and they wanted him back like that. So they were just determined to get him back like that, despite all that brilliant work that had been done between 88, 86, 87, whenever it was they got married, and the present day at that point. All the amazing work a bunch of the writers had done.
Yeah, again, the work that JMS did earlier in his run to re-cement that relationship, only have to break it apart later on.
Yeah.
It wasn't any, it's no surprise that he wasn't massively keen on One More Day.
To the point where he leapt off midway into
it. Joe Quesada had to finish it off, Joe Quesada was the one who decided, we have to kill this relationship. And also it's the thing of, we need Spider-Man to be young and single so the kids can relate to him. But what was so interesting about Coming Home and the stories that came after it was a late 20s, mid to late 20s Peter, becoming a teacher and learning what it means to be an adult and have responsibilities and fixing his marriage
Yeah.
and moving and things like that. So
it was interesting because
Yeah.
it was territory he'd never been in.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to read.
Which I'm sure is a theme that's going to recur as we talk about various stories. But yeah, JMS's Spider-Man run, Coming Home, Revelations, Until the Stars Turn Cold, Unintended...
That's the one. Yeah.
Life and Death of Spiders, Unintended Consequences, Book of Ezekiel, The Other, Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War stuff's pretty damn great. Across Amazing and Peter Parker.
Yeah.
As well.
Back in Black.
Nice segue. Back in Black contains one of my favourite issues of Spider-Man ever. And again, I've got the numbering wrong, but I know it's in the 400s. I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. It's in
during the Back in Black storyline.
Just tell us about Back in Black.
Back in Black is, right, so Civil War, big political story relating to a horrific incident where a reality TV show about superheroes goes horribly wrong when a supervillain murders a small town, including hundreds of children nearby. Superhuman Registration Act is enforced by the law, and Tony Stark upholds it, and Steve Rogers is like, no, some of these men and women put their lives on the line for a reason, and we can't do this. We can't expose them to the world. People will come after them. They're doing this selflessly. And Tony's like, fuck that. I've recently done some bad things and I have to make amends for it. So I wouldn't
basically
be a good guy.
everyone's really out of character because Mark Miller's writing this book.
And it's a decent story on its own, but I know what you mean.
Mark Miller doesn't write characters. He writes
ideas.
He writes ideas and he doesn't write established characters. He writes his version of them, which are not always the same.
But
Bendis does the same thing to a similar, but not anywhere near to as egregious a degree.
In the middle of this story, Tony Stark convinces Peter Parker, who currently at this point is one of the Avengers living in Avengers Tower, alongside May and Mary Jane. Aunt May, who knows who he is, and Mary Jane obviously knows who he is, convinces Peter to basically be the mascot for this, to be the one who goes out to prove that registering isn't a bad thing. So Peter Parker goes out in front of the world's press, removes his mask, and says, "My name's Peter Parker, and I've been Spider-Man since I was 15 years old." Civil War continues. Spidey realises Tony might not be on the right side, bands with Captain America's side, and everything goes higgledy-piggledy wrong and everything. By the end of it, Peter is one of the several heroes who's technically a fugitive, trying to be rounded up. May and Mary Jane have supported him, so they've gone with him into hiding. Cap is dead and no longer able to obviously help everybody directly, so they're all having to go their separate ways. And Peter is known by the world. So Tony's sort of leaving him alone. Tony's given him a bit of a berth on purpose, which is made even bigger when he confronts him and Spidey beats the ever-loving shit out of Tony Stark in his armour, just to basically say, "You leave my family alone." But the inevitable happens. Peter's identity's known, and powerful, dangerous people who he's put away or injured want revenge. From his jail cell, Wilson Fisk, who I think was jailed because of a Daredevil storyline.
Yeah.
He was incarcerated in Rikers.
I think that all came out of the back of Bendis' Daredevil run.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been around then.
Yeah, this is all post that.
Wilson Fisk, from his cell, pays for and organises the assassination of Peter Parker. Because he's like, good, we can kill Spider-Man and take him off the table. So a sniper sets up outside the motel that they're hiding in, takes the shot, Peter's spider sense goes off, and he's with Mary Jane, and they duck out the way. They don't know what it is, his spider sense has just gone off, and he's grabbed her and pulled her to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the bullet hits Aunt May in, I think it's the shoulder, and her wound is bleeding out pretty heavily.
Well, it's because she's ancient.
Yeah.
And she's brittle. She's made of glass.
So they get her
Wizened
to
glass.
hospital, but obviously trying to stay off the grid. They can't reveal any details or insurances, so it's about getting her on charity wards. And basically, it really starts to take its toll on Peter. So he decides to cut the shit. And because it sends a message to the criminals that he's not fucking around, and also because it was 2007 and they wanted some front covers of their books to tie in with the movie, he finds his cloth version of the black costume, sticks it on, and starts kicking ass and taking names. For a chunk of the Back in Black arc, he's beating the crap out of villains trying to find out who organised the hit. He finds out, I think it's issue 497. I could be wrong, or 494. But he finds out he heads into Rikers, and Kingpin has paid off all the staff, all the guards for the night. He's paid them off, basically saying, 2 hours, everyone's allowed out of their cell. We're not leaving the main hall, the mess hall. Everyone's allowed out of their cell. Everyone will be back in their cell after 2 hours. You have my word. Because obviously none of the inmates there are going to fuck around with the Kingpin.
No.
He's like, they'll all be back in the cell. Just leave us alone for 2 hours. I've invited someone. And they even dig out a suit. They even let him have a suit of his from the evidence lockers and everything. So Wilson Fisk basically waits there for Spider-Man to arrive because he knows he's coming now.
Yeah.
And Spidey does arrive. And beats the ever-loving shit out of Kingpin. This issue is worth reading simply because it's what happens when you see Spider-Man let go. And it's not pretty. And it's scary to see because everyone
I imagine
forgets.
if he lets go in that costume and he's had some Mexican, oof,
Oh, God.
that wouldn't be pretty.
Well, Spidey pulls his punches. He's a guy who always holds back because his strength is
he's super
tremendous.
Strong. He's got the proportional strength of a spider.
He once punched out the Hulk early in his run. He managed to knock him out by putting the weight of his full strength behind the punch. A punch which he then delivers to Kraven in a later Kraven story in that early run, one of Kraven's later appearances.
Yep.
Because Kraven just won't stop. He's fully souped up and relentless. So Spidey punches him in the gut with the same power he punched the Hulk in the face. And Kraven just goes bug-eyed, exhales, and collapses. But yeah, so it's interesting to see because obviously he always holds back, but now emotion's completely driving him and he feels like he's got nothing to lose. Because May's gonna die. She's going to die, and it's Fisk's fault.
Because she's fucking ancient!
But that can't be changed, so why not beat Fisk to death? Now, eventually he holds off, he stops himself. There's a brilliant bit, and I think I've mentioned this before, but there's a brilliant bit where Fisk says, so you came here to kill me then? And Spider-Man says, no, I didn't come here to kill you. And he pulls off his mask and the upper half of his costume. And he looks at him as Peter and goes, I did. And he just leaps on top of him and starts wailing. And obviously the criminals at first are yeah, kick his ass, Fisk. As it goes on, they're all just looking terrified because they're not sure what they can do. They can't step in. Fisk was trying to make a point. They don't want to interrupt. But at the same time, what if they interrupt and Spider-Man beats them up too? This is a room full of 200 plus hardened criminals. They don't know what to do. It's a fascinating look, and it's kind of the turning point there where he realises he's oh my God, what have I become? What has this situation done to me? And that's what eventually, unfortunately, leads into the decisions that he and MJ make in One More Day.
They literally sell their marriage to the devil.
But hey, everyone knowing who he is gets erased magically, so whatever.
And what do we get in the wake of One More Day?
We get Brand New Day, which is fine.
It's mostly
I've never had a problem with Brand New Day. I can see why people do, because it's the sign of, they won.
It's
this weird vendetta they pushed has won. But then you've got the Brain Trust come in. You've got a series of writers.
With Mark Waid, Dan Slott, and... who was the third one?
I don't know, but... Cat looks at you I don't know, but keep stroking me.
Yeah, she's full on curled up in my lap right now as we're recording. Just being a right little sausage.
Oh, madam.
She's stretching, she's melting off the front of the couch because she's stretching. It was Dan Slott, Mark Waid. Who fucking... I'm going to have to look this up. I want to say... Oh no, it was more. It was Dan Slott, Bob Gale, Matt Guggenheim, Fred Van Lente, and Zeb Wells.
Holy balls, that's a lot of people.
Joe Kelly, Mark Waid, and Roger Stern later on joined the writing team. Because basically what happened is that with Brand New Day, whereas you'd originally had 4 Spider-Man titles going on at once.
Yeah.
Then they cancelled everything but Amazing Spider-Man, and then made Amazing Spider-Man come out 3 times a month.
Yeah, which was genius because you kind of follow it. And
Brand New Day did his thing, and then they did the Gauntlet, and they had a thing at the start, but only doing new villains, new situations, adjusting to the new status quo, and this was all going on against the backdrop of things like Dark Reign and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
I think Dark Reign was the first excuse for them to then go, okay, we're going to do one that ties into his old villains because a couple of his villains are involved in the Dark Avengers.
And they did New Ways to Die.
Yeah,
and then he's got this Gauntlet where he's literally facing up against all of his classic villains.
And it lasts a long time, Gauntlet. Like, it takes
I think
time.
it's like 4 trades.
Plus, there was storylines running alongside it as well, like the Black Cat mini and everything. Like the
Amazing Spider-Man Presents.
Amazing Spider-Man Presents.
Yeah.
Shortly after that time as well, I think, is when we got the new team-up book, which was... Oh, God, what was it
Avenging
called?
Spider-Man.
Avenging Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That came around about that time as well. Let's... before we... Because I think we're both... we're both leading to one particular story. So before we do that, I just want to touch on one more that I want to recommend. Ultimate Spider-Man is one of my favourite books of all time, if not my favourite.
Oh, yes, we must talk about Ultimate, yeah.
But if I'm going to pick one story out, and I've only just realised something here, this is so weird. There's a common theme with the 3 stories I've singled out so far.
What?
The story I want to point out is, I mean, obviously, definitely pick up With Great Power, which is the first story arc, Power and Responsibility.
Yeah.
7 issues. It's a 7-issue version, so a feature-length telling of the origin of Spider-Man.
It is...
Which hadn't really happened before that. It was, the original issue is like 11 pages of that book.
Best example of... Brian Michael Bendis, who created Ultimate Spider-Man and is still writing Ultimate Spider-Man, although now it's not Ultimate Spider-Man anymore, it's just Spider-Man because it's Miles Morales and he's in the main Marvel Universe, but that's by the by. Brian Michael Bendis is notorious / widely lauded / infamous for his for his decompressed storytelling, which means he takes an awfully long time to do not very much. And one of the best examples is the first arc of Ultimate Spider-Man because it's not boring.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It takes 7 issues to tell a really simple story that was in the 60s was told in 11 pages or 12 pages.
Uncle Ben doesn't die until the end of issue 4.
Yeah.
Like, that is how it's done. Like, he makes you fall in love with Ben Parker and understand why Peter loves him. And the frustrations that the Parkers are going through being, stand-in parents for their nephew.
Yeah. And they're younger as well.
They're younger, like Ben's got a bit more of a hippie-ish kind of...
yeah.
And May is... Like, they're clearly meant to be sort of in their, I think, early 60s?
I would say, like, late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, they're sort of played a lot more,
They're grey.
Youthful.
They're
silver foxes.
Not wizened.
They're silver foxes.
Yeah, Paul Hollywood.
Silver fox.
She ain't no Marissa Tomei, I'll tell you that.
Peter is, but Marissa Tomei's Aunt May has yet to make the delicious banana bread.
Oh.
So, don't make any euphemisms out of that.
Can't.
So,
Can't not.
Like, we get to meet MJ as one of his class members from day one, and we get to see Flash and a new character, Kong.
I love Kong. He's great.
He's basically Flash's muscle. Like, Flash is the arrogant, big-headed twerp, and Kong is his dumb, twatty, if slightly more lovable friend, and they just, you learn about the school, you meet Liz, and
they kind of like Peter, but they also kind of rag on him.
Yeah,
like they know
it's like an actual high school dynamic of when, especially when you're a class that have grown up alongside each other, as opposed to you've just been thrust together at that year. They're all 14 going on 15 at the start of the book. Yeah. So perfect for like teenage drama and nonsense and bullshit. And alongside it, like Oscorp is where the spiders are developed and tested with the drug Oz, which is like a superhuman performance enhancer, which later on we find out was meant to be experiments to recreate the super soldier serum.
You see an awful lot of the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff crop up in the Raimi movies.
Yeah, the first Raimi movie's like 60 Spidey, but it uses Ultimate's first story arc as a bit of a template.
I think they were coming out around the same time.
Yeah, Ultimate started in 2000, so
I think Spider-Man was being shot at the time Ultimate Spider-Man was coming out.
There would have been meetings, I imagine, about like, so what are you doing at the moment? Like, let's talk a bit about that, because the Green Goblin's tied into the origin.
It's completely different from his 616 version.
But
in terms of like power set and appearance, things like that.
If Norman's more calculated in the 616, he's a junkie in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, he's crazy,
Especially that first one where he comes back and he basically just takes him to one side and he's like, I own you. Peter's like, what? He's like, don't fucking give me what. I know who you are. I created you. I own you. So here's how things are going to go. You're going to be my bitch. You're going to do X, Y, and Z for me. And if you don't, I'm going to kill you and your pretty girlfriend and your Aunt May, and I'm going to kill Harry. I'll kill Harry. I will kill my son because he's your friend. By the way, I'm just going to jack up on this drug now. Look, I'm big and green. This feels amazing. It's like, oh my god. Which is great. Oh, especially that's the first appearance of Nick Fury in it, because he just appears in the hospital. And he's like, has he asked you to kill me yet? It's like, what? It's like, who the hell are you? And it's like, has Norman Osborn asked you to kill me yet? Because like S.H.I.E.L.D. were investigating Osborn, and so weird. But the storyline I want to point out is the second story arc, Learning Curve, which was... So again, these stories aren't based in your daddy's Spider-Man. Like it's a new telling for the new millennium, separate continuity, separate universe. This is Peter's first proper like Spider-Man story. Like he becomes a wrestler and fights the Goblin in the first volume, in the first storyline. In this one, he tries to take on crime at the source, and this is when I realised I'd made a connection in my 3 picks without even realising it. This is the Ultimate Universe's introduction to Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, who I'm quickly realising, as we say this out loud, might be my favourite Spider-Man villain.
Is this the arc with the
Enforcers? This is the arc with the Enforcers.
Yeah.
Which is the best use of the Enforcers I've ever seen in a comic book. Because they keep the ridiculous outside premise of all 3 of them and openly mock it, but also make them a threat.
Down with that.
This is the appearance of Electro, pre-blue skin, so skin-tight rubber suit with the popped collar and the lightning bolt-shaped open shirt.
Yeah.
Who at this point we don't know who he is exactly or where he got his powers from. We learn about that later. He's just an enforcer for the Kingpin. We meet J. Jonah Jameson in the Ultimate Universe for the first time. Peter gets a job at the Bugle. He tries to sell him a photo. Jameson's like, that's crap.
This is a terrible photo.
And then on his way out, Ben Urich is trying to fix him on his computer, and Peter's like, oh, there you go, I've done it. And they're like, oh. So on the spot, Jameson's like, okay, we're looking for a new web designer. You got the job. Really? Yeah. I mean, you're a high school kid, so you can do it like every other night, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, you're hired. Oh, okay. So in this universe, Peter is the web designer. As we meet Betty Brant and Jeremy Robertson. At the end of this story arc, Peter reveals who he is to Mary Jane at the very end. Which is, again, the following issue is one of my favourite issues ever. It's just the 2 of them in his bedroom talking about it. And Mark Bagley dominates it with his expressions, issue.
Yeah, Mark Bagley's art in this series is pretty
He'd been working throughout the late 80s and throughout the 90s on Spidey titles and stuff, but I think Ultimate was his best work.
Well, because I think a lot of his 90s Spidey work was sort of caught up in the Clone Saga stuff.
Yeah.
Which is generally not very well regarded.
But also
so
lots of symbiote stuff. Just lots of just jagged edges. Where in this, he finally got to just draw kids talking and, you know what I mean, like adults doing horrifying, monstrous things.
Everyone does kind of have the same face, though.
I don't know. I mean, I know what you mean. He's got a style, but I wouldn't say it was like...
I'm not saying it's a problem, because, I mean, the late Steve Dillon had the same thing going on, and I love him. But everyone looks the same.
Yeah.
But everyone's got the same face, but it's a great face.
It's a good face.
It's a great face.
He gives great face. But yes, as Matt pointed out, this is the story arc with probably Brian Michael Bendis' greatest contribution to Spider-Man as a single scene, which is where Peter finally goes to confront Fisk. Because here's the thing, in the story...
This is after he's already got his ass handed to him by Fisk.
He got his ass handed to by Fisk twice, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The first time, like, Fisk is... Like, he deals with the Enforcers, electroshocks him, then Fisk basically picks him up. They beat him up, they like, strap him to a chair, and Fisk just pulls his mask off and he's like, he's a fucking kid. Get him out of here. And... I think Peter manages to get away, but what they do in the end is they throw another guy who they were trying to murder... get rid of all trace of, with the Spider-Man mask on into the Hudson River. So when that guy's uncovered, there's this whole thing of like, has Spider-Man killed this guy? Or was this guy Spider-Man? Like, do you know what I mean? There's all that stuff. And Peter gets his arse handed to him again. But basically what Peter's doing is he knows that all of Fisk's dealings, all of his illegal dealings are done within his office building.
Yeah.
So he goes after the CCTV tapes of just that like one room where that stuff happens, which only Fisk has access to. Because what he's going to do is take them all, sell them to the Bugle, because Ben Urich explains like in the Daredevil Netflix show, we've got so much on this guy and we can't run it. Because one bit of red tape here or one source there that won't corroborate with us because they're being in his pocket and like it's never going to happen. So Peter's like, I'm going to get all the tapes, I'm going to destroy the one of the night of me being unmasked, and I'm going to give the rest to Ben Urich. Spoiler alert, he manages to succeed by the end, and Fisk has to leave the country and immediately becomes Spider-Man's greatest foe in the Ultimate Universe, until he is unceremoniously killed off at the start of Miles Morales' run.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is really annoying, because he's killed off by Mysterio of all people. But anyway, it's amazing because there's this beautiful scene where Peter arrives and Fisk is looming. Now, Peter is drawn as like a 5'1", 14-year-old kid in spandex.
He's very small, very slender.
He's lithe, yeah. He's muscular, but he's not buff. Kingpin is drawn as like a 7'5" behemoth, and I think it's Mark Bagley's choice to make you go, "Oh my god!" Like he stands no chance against him. So Spidey, for the first time, does a very Spidey thing. He disarms Fisk with jokes, but not just zipping around making quips jokes, with standing there bringing out a placard or two and going, alright, sorry, I've got something I want to say to you and I just wanted to make sure I said it right, so I've written it down, I hope you don't mind. Fisk's like, what? You are so fat that when you cut yourself shaving, marshmallow fluff comes out. No? Okay, another one. You are so fat that when they took your high school yearbook photo, they had to do it from a helicopter. Okay, I can see you're a little angry there. Look, maybe one more. You are so fat, when you step on the scales, it says 1 at a time, please. And it just goes off like another 2 or 3 jokes, and Fisk is just like, the facial expressions, just like disbelief. Oh my god, he's really doing this. Oh, I'm getting angry. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting angry. It's brilliant. And then he just goes for him, and obviously Spidey takes Fisk's rage to his advantage and helps him throw off the punch, and it's so good. So yeah, that's the second story arc of Ultimate Spider-Man, called first appearance of the Shocker as well.
Learning
Curve. You can get that if you pick up Ultimate Spider-Man Ultimate Collection Volume 1.
Yeah. That's
the first 2. I think it's those first 2 story arcs. It might even be the first 3. It might have Double Trouble in it as well.
And of course, what you can also do, and again, we're not sponsored here, so this isn't a pitch.
Yeah. But if they want it,
Yeah. What you can also do is you've got Marvel Unlimited, which is like Marvel's online subscription service, and I think it's like $70 for a year, and you basically get access to Marvel's entire digital library, single issues, up to as recent as the last 6 months.
Mm.
So for some titles, that's like
a lot of stuff.
The entire run of Amazing Spider-Man is on there, up to 6 months ago. So this is a really good way to read a lot of that stuff, a lot of this stuff. I've dipped in and out of having Marvel Limited subscriptions here and there. I prefer to read in trades personally.
I think we need to crack on with the emails because we're running a bit late. But we'll leave you with just the title of one other thing you need to check out.
Yeah.
Superior Spider-Man.
Yes.
If you want to know more, ask us and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will talk about it.
Yeah.
And also for another big bit of big damn love comics thing.
Nicely handled.
My next big damn love will be about a pretty awesome run on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So tune into that on Sunday. Yay! It will also be. Can we say this? Yes. It will be the last big damn love for a little bit. We're going to take a little break from big damn loves, and we're going to try out some new ideas. But fear not, we're not abandoning it. We'll come back.
Yeah.
We're just letting it have a little rest while we try out some new ideas.
But if you're thinking to yourself, oh no, you can't leave it there. It's 6 months worth of content.
Yeah.
You can rewatch it.
We'll be fine.
You'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll see you later.
Yes. So, but yes, join me on Sunday. We'll talk some more Spider-Man comics. So we have so many emails, and before we get into them, I guess we need to address
the key-holding, hoodie-wearing newcomer in the room.
Yes.
Or in the forest, with a photoshopped TARDIS image that is the 4th on Google search.
Preempting the questions we have about it in the emails. Jodie Whittaker is the 13th Doctor, and
yes.
we're pretty happy about that.
We're pretty damn happy about
it. I wasn't following the sort of who is it speculation massively, mainly because as soon as Chris Marshall's name came up, I was like, oh god, this is boring.
No offense to Chris Marshall, but
he does look like a baffled geography teacher. So.
Which technically has been one of the qualifying factors of at least half of the Doctors.
We've done that, haven't we? Exactly. Half of the Doctor's stuff, if not more. It's the most boring choice you could make. So, yeah, Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker. The first thing is, did you watch it live or did you watch it when you got home?
I watched it later on, yeah.
So, did you know who it was before you saw the reveal footage? Had you read it?
Yes.
Okay. Because I watched it live, and as it starts, they obviously make a point of bulking her up.
She's got quite baggy clothing, hasn't she?
Yeah, so you sort of go like, oh, it's a bloke then. Okay. Because obviously speculation running rampant. You're like, oh, it's a bloke. All right, okay, let's see who it is. And then as it goes on, you start to see, like, you saw the trouser meet the boot. It was like, hang on.
The trouser meet the boot.
Yeah, just that one shot of a leg where it's like, that's more a lady's cut of trousers. Okay. And then obviously you get the hand, and you're like, that's a very feminine hand. And then you get the eye, and you go, oh my god, we have our first female Doctor. And then as soon as she appeared, I was like, oh my god. Who? I had a moment where I didn't, clock it. I said Jodie Whittaker, I was like, I know the name. About 5 minutes later, my brain randomly woke up and went, duh, mate, Attack the Block. Because that's what I know her from mostly. I've not seen much of Broadchurch. So Attack the Block is my point of reference.
Attack the Block and that one episode of Black Mirror she did are my reference points.
Oh, which one?
She's in the Toby Kebbell one.
Oh!
The Memories.
Yeah.
Season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously I've watched that relatively recently in the last couple of months because I've been doing Big Damn Love, so...
Yeah. Oh gosh, I miss a great episode. I miss a great season. I miss a great show.
It's a great show.
But yeah, Attack the Block, I was like, well, there you go. She's dealt with aliens before. She and a disgraced stormtrooper kicked the arse out of a tower block full of furry alien creatures. Yeah. I think she'll be perfectly suited to dealing with aliens in Doctor Who.
Yeah, there's just something about the look of that, even though it's only a little teaser.
Yeah.
There's something about the look of it.
It's the lighting. It's the sort of the broken down wooden carriage and the bushes and everything. And sort of you get a little hint of the past.
I know, even though she's not
tonally, they're sort of making it feel a bit fairy tale and
she's
interesting.
Not doing a lot because it's just a teaser.
It's not a reveal of the Doctor. It's a reveal of here is the actor who's playing the Doctor next. That's what the key is and all that. It's like saying it's her key now. Like she's in charge of the TARDIS.
There's just a freshness to the whole thing.
Yes.
I'm down with it. I'm down with it. So,
best reveal in a while. So, yeah. And it's just a shame that we're not really going to see her in action till, and this is, rumoured, but September next year. Obviously a glimpse on Christmas Day, but it sucks that we have to wait that long, because I think everyone's like, oh my god, right now, if they turn around and went, yeah, spring next year is when the next series is, I think we'd all be like, oh, brilliant, we can't wait. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's weird to think she's one of 3 Doctors who will be appearing in Christmas.
Yeah, that's
very odd.
We haven't had that for a while.
Yeah.
Right, loads of emails. Let's
Meanwhile?
fucking burn through them. Are you ready for this? I'm cracking my knuckles.
Oh, his as well.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, we go.
Okay. That was a silent one, but it was tasty.
Silent but deadly. Luke.
Sorry, who?
Luke.
All right, Luke.
I'm not saying the surname because Yeah, because you don't sign... Unless you sign off with a name...
Yeah.
I'm going to assume you don't want to be named.
Yeah.
Just so I don't give out people's surnames.
Maybe he doesn't even want to be Luke. Maybe he wants to be known as El Luciato.
Although he signed it as Luke, so...
Oh, well then, Luke. Be that way.
Gosh, this is a long one, Luke. Hello, Chris and Matt, it's me, Luke. No, not that one, the other one, unless you were thinking of the other one, me first meaning I'm the one you first thought of. I didn't want to do it originally, my sake, when the Doctor falls. I told you in my last email I was sending a full series review, so here we go, encircling, okay, go here.
Oh my god, it's a full episode review of the entire season.
Episode review. Okay.
Do you know what? We'll take an episode each. Are you ready for this? This is what Luke thought of Doctor Who Series 10.
You go first.
Episode 1, the pilot, a good introduction to Asbill, but really magic space oil. At least we have... Oh god, I've already failed. Go, episode 2. Do it!
Smile. Just meh. A mix between the girl who waited robots and the emotion patches from Gridlock. At least it's marginally better than Frank Cottrell Boyce's previous script. At least anybody that sees for next week. I like that. 4.3 emotional space out of 10.
God, his sight reading's better than mine. Episode 3, go! Thin Ice, what a great setting. Capaldi shone as the Doctor for me. I really enjoyed Asbill's enthusiasm and her wanting to try everything. She had very human reactions, unlike someone who is what the script needs first. Before characters. I hope Jim will keep Sarah Dollard on as a writer for his run. 8.5 elephants on the Thames out of 10.
Episode 4, Knock Knock. Who's there? Bit of a letdown who? Bit of a letdown as the monster wasn't really a bad person, it was done out of love. A special mention for David Suchet, who was perfectly creepy. An otherwise bland story. 6.8 creaking mother-daughters out of 10.
Episode 5, Oxygen. Whelp, I enjoyed Nardwell in this episode, acting as an unwilling adventurer. Though one or two of his jokes fell flat, his little mannerisms in the back of shots are very enjoyable. I enjoyed the Doctor having to use his wits and skills, not just relying on his sonic screwdriver. Even the blindness made sense to some extent. 7.5 corpse-filled atomic suits out of 10.
The blindness made no sense. It never made any sense for the 4 episodes it was there. Episode 6, Extremists. Well. Moffat is back to his old tricks, I see, with an oh-so-clever story. The Missy stuff was okay, but I had a feeling she was going to be in the vault. Can't wait for the twist ending, but they are still in a simulation. 6.3 Mario's realising they are part of the game and deleting themselves out of the game out of 10.
That's not a thing. Episode 7, The Pyramid at the End of the World. One mouthful of an episode. I enjoyed how everyone was meant to think it was the war that was going to destroy the world, but actually it was experiment gone wrong. And why a pyramid? Never mind. 6 misplaced decimal points out of 10.
Episode 8, The Lie of the Land.
Oh my God.
So the end of this 3-parter, and well, not much happened. Asbill was very human again, but I like the build-up and after the fate regeneration, it was pointless. The monks did nothing and had no impact on the world or the rest of the series. The whole 3-part was like an 8th Doctor Big Finish play. The natural history of fear that they cut up into its main themes made an awful mess fitting in thread points and ruining other parts. 7 deep-fried Voldemorts. What me and my friends renamed the monks to out of 10. I feel like that's a relatively positive review. That's a high number for a negative review. I'm not correct.
Episode 9, The Empress of Mars, a fun Mark Gates episode. I like the subtle nod to Tooth and Claw, me too, and the not so subtle nod to the Curse of Peladon, me too. If you told me at Christmas I'd be missing Nardole in an episode, I would have laughed in your face, but I did sort of miss him in this episode. The Ice Warriors look cool also. 8 hermaphrodite hexapods out of 10, or 8 Victorian soldier footballs out of 10. What?
I'm not sure I'm on board with your rating system, Luke.
Episode 10. You're being very generous, Luke.
Episode 10, The Eaters of Light. Rhoda Monroe! I really enjoyed this one. The Missing Ninth Legion has always fascinated me, much like Asbill. In this episode, I found the music was on point for the first time in a while. All the character motivations seemed plausible. 8.5 raisins, screeching out of 10.
Yeah, I did like the music in that episode, actually.
Yes.
Episode 11, The World Enough and Tim.
World Enough and Tim.
Yeah, he's a lovely man. And here we are, almost at the end of an episode I really loved. I thought you were both right. I did not know about characters and monsters returning. It would have been incredible. I had this through my mum, who was literally on the edge of her seat. I guess Bill was going to become a Sideman once my brother twigged it was John Sim. John Sim. So have a glass of milk and bitch about the industry. Who the fuck is John Sim? Almost instantly. A fun story with a very disturbing setting. I suffer from chronic pain, which isn't fun. Isn't fun, sorry.
No,
but the patient crying pain, and it is still in pain, even though it can't say it. It just made things a bit too real for me. Ooh. I also like the real conversion and Missy and Mr. Razor, 9 former British Prime Ministers out of 10.
You're
psyching yourself up.
I've got the roof of mouth.
He's getting the phlegm going. I can hear it. I can taste it.
Episode 12, The Doctor Falls. I don't know how to express my feelings for this episode. Missy and the Master were incredible. I knew they were going to kill each other from the day John Simmons announced his returning, but for me that was it. Even though the Sonic X Machina was sort of explained, it still happened. The cinematography from Rachel to Lele, I also hope Chibnall keeps her on. It took 5 times for me to like it a bit more. Another letdown. Moffat can do setup but no follow-through. Yep. This episode was made for Peter Capaldi to have fun in his favourite evolution level of the Sidemen and getting to root episodes with the Doctors, and that ending, it made my dad very pleased as he loved David Bradley's portrayal in Adventure in Space and Time, but I know that he was just playing William Hartnell, not the Doctor. I hope he carries it off. It just felt odd given that I thought it was male whilst everyone else was giving it younger baths. Yeah. I know that's a typo, but younger baths is fucking great. Younger baths! Oh, that's so good. Yeah, it's funny Hen's taking so long with this email. You have gone off on one, Luke. I'm just saying that.
But he does rate it. 6.5 First Doctor appearances, making all the stupid reaction people squee, even though they probably never watched a Hartnell episode or know who he is, thinking it's the First Doctor as Christopher Eccleston, yet they call themselves fans out of 10.
Yes, let's judge fans on how much they know about the series. That's helpful. So there you are.
Although I'm gonna just point it out.
Yeah, okay.
So you know my YouTube arch nemesis, even though he doesn't know it, because it's mostly just me being annoyed that he exists. Emergency Awesome.
Oh, that guy.
He claims that the First Doctor's story that is being interrupted by the end of that is Marco Polo. You know, that famous scene in Marco Polo where he's about to die in the next scene, apparently.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, I just love the idea that he's like, there you go, that's the reference, there's my geeky reference for this episode in this episode script. Something which 99% of the people who do watch all of Doctor Who haven't seen because you can't freaking get a hold of it.
You can't get a hold of it. It doesn't exist. Sorry for the length of this email, but some quick question. If you could sum up this series of Doctor Who in 3 sounds, what would they be? We've made so many more than 3 sounds about this series.
Yeah, I'd say, huh. As an overall feeling for the series, that's not necessarily a progression of the series. That was 2. That was 3.5.
3.5. Well,
I couldn't count.
Bringing it back to Spider-Man month. If you could make any Spider-Man story into a movie, which would it be and why?
Master Planner.
Master Planner?
Obviously tweak it a bit more, but that'd be fun. Like a Doc Ock setting up a gauntlet of foes kind of thing. You could do that a bit more. Not Sinister Six, but like a whole keep him off my tail. I've got bigger fish to fry. Although they've already done him lifting heavy shit moment, so it probably wouldn't be that, would it? Meats.
Something along the line. Until the Stars Turn Cold.
Something with the Spot.
A big. Is he in that? I think he is.
Is he? I just want to see something with the Spot.
No, he's not.
I just want to see the Spot get a cinematic incarnation before Craven or Mysterio.
Something like Until the Stars Turn Cold, where it's about him and MJ's relationship and them trying to patch it back together, all the while just getting caught up in this ridiculous super villain fight, and just like, what is going on? And he goes drop a hotel on him, and he has to lift a heavy thing.
Who's your favourite incarnation?
Craven's Last Hunt. What am I talking about? Craven's Last Hunt.
I think you need Craven before that to do for the payoff.
Doesn't matter. Craven's Last Hunt.
Fair play. Who's your favourite incarnation of Spider-Man? Character to take the mantle, actor to play him, run of the comics. If we pick an actor to play him, in terms of live action, I think still Tobey Maguire for me at the moment. But that's because I'm more attached to his version just because I've seen more of him. But I really like Tom Holland. And I think Andrew Garfield makes a great Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But his Peter Parker's too sexy.
I think Tom Holland has the right balance. My favourite Spider-Man is Peter Parker out of all the Spider-Mans that have been.
Yeah, same.
I like Miles a lot, but I'm not as familiar with it. I've not read enough Miles. And all the other Spider-Mans have been a bit.
Plus, he's not pretending to be the same Spider-Man. He's a different Spider-Man.
Yeah, so, exactly. He's not. Spider-Man's not really a legacy character in the same way
as Batman or Iron Man and stuff. And run of the comics. Not trying to completely kiss his shoes, considering he cameoed for us the other week. But Dan Slott's run has been my favourite that I've read of Spider-Man in particular.
Yeah, for me it's a toss up between JMS and Dan Slott. They're both really good.
All the best, Luke. Goodbye, my dear.
Jesus, that was a long one, Luke.
Holy balls, Luke.
Oof. Take shorter toilet breaks. This one comes in with no name, but it simply says Jurassic Park. Ooh, mince, and a picture of Alan Partridge.
Jurassic Park. Nice. I'll accept it.
Thank you.
I'll accept that.
Thank you.
Mystery Partridge.
Another Luke, Ginger Luke here.
Yes.
Just 2 questions today, as my phone is going to die. Oh, and my answer. You don't. I know your phone is going to die. Like, you can email us. The amazing thing about emails is, right, you can do it anytime. Go home, charge your phone, send us a longer one if you want it. If you don't want to send us a longer one, that's fine. But like it. You don't have to send it right now.
What I love about this is he's probably having a re-listen right now, and his battery just died before you answered his question.
Oh no! Hey, Ginger Luke here. I said that already. If your local theatre was doing a production of the Buffy musical, Once More with Feeling, and you wanted to be in it, who would you play? Don't do that. Don't. No. That's not. I'm not going to answer that question because that shouldn't be a thing. It's not a play. It's not a play. It's an episode of television with those characters that are originated by those actors, and it's specific to them.
Sweet the Demon.
His answer.
Thanks for your question, Ginger Luke.
his answer is Spike or Giles or Xander or basically anyone
with Luke, a penis, apparently.
Luke, that isn't really an answer. I mean, thank you. But it isn't really an answer.
Giles gets the second best song in it after Tara. But,
will you ever do a Buffy episode? I imagine we'll do at least one.
I would be surprised if we went to the grave without having delivered at least 7 Buffy-related things.
Yeah, I can see that.
1 for each season of the television show. Mince.
Cool. Doctor Who was brilliant, wasn't it? Brilliant's a strong word. Bye. P.S. 2 confessions. I really like Class and In the Forest of the Night.
Straight into the junk mail folder.
That's perfectly fine if you like him.
His opinion's not wrong. It's his opinion, and opinions can't be wrong. But straight into the junk mail folder.
Yeah. We got 2. No. Jacob. Knowles. I feel like we've not heard from Jacob forever.
I heard that Jacob was sucked into the jaws of the Nightmare Child.
Lucky Jacob. Hello, Big Bam Cockers.
Fair enough.
Bringing it strong with the type. I love it, Jacob. Bringing on strong typos once again. I am once again back, bitches, indefinitely this time.
Oh. So he was sucked into the jaws of the Nightmare Child.
So the end of the BBC's TV's The Doctor Who Series 10, otherwise known as Season 36. No one calls it Season 36.
Radio Times does.
Fuck off, Radio Times.
I'm not even kidding. When Radio Times lists the episodes, it lists them as the series based on the numbering from the original run. It's so strange.
I'm not sure if I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it.
Oh?
First of all, why could the original Cybermen fly?
Yeah, that was stupid.
And did all the all-powerful Stephen Moffat kill off the Master by making the Master kill himself/herself? Yes.
Yeah.
And why couldn't Bill have just died? Meh. To be fair, though...
Well, she did, sort of.
To be fair, though, technically Nardole died.
Yeah, because they're going to get caught eventually.
Yeah. Though throughout the series...
they are caught.
Shush. Throughout the series, I really grew to like him as a character, which I was surprised with, because I really disliked Nardole in the first 2 episodes he appeared in. Yeah, I was surprised how much I liked Nardole by the end of it. Other than that, I really enjoyed the episode, and I would have been actually surprised by the twist at the end if it hadn't have been spoiled an hour before I watched the Ruby episode. But I think the Multi-Doctor Christmas special will be a good addition to the unitard of Doctor Who. Like a little patch that goes just above the crotch. I went to see my favourite superhero movie of all time the other day, Spider-Man Homecoming. It was so good. It's very good. Tom Holland is by far the best Spider-Man we have ever had and actually looks like a 15-year-old kid, high schooler, unlike a TV show we all known as Class. Nobody watches Class anymore because it doesn't exist. But I really, really, really enjoyed it. I think it was another excellent entry into the Marvel Cinematic Unitard. All in all, I thought it was marvellous. See what I did there? I do see what you did there. I just read it. Everything about the movie was great, but I didn't see any setup for the Venom movie because they don't want to make... Because
The MCU folk don't want to make it, and I
they're
don't
not
blame
making
them.
it. So
I don't blame them. I don't want them to make it.
I guarantee this movie was wrapped before Sony decided they were going to do a Venom movie. There is no need for a Venom movie. Oh, before I go, I want to mention Flash Thompson. He was one of the best things about the movie. I think he was exactly like his comic book counterpart. I mean, he wasn't. He was true to the spirit of it in that he was a modern version of that bully character. But yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Another thing before I say bye. Finally, someone writes high school well. I am currently attending high school, and no joke, it's exactly how it was like portrayed in Homecoming. That sounds about right from what I remember of it. It was a long time ago now. So if you want to know what modern day high school is like, then watch Homecoming. Just go watch Homecoming. It's great. Lots of wet, squishy cuddles. Jacob, dry yourself off before you come over here. Really. It's just... I don't want anything to get damp. Luke again. The other Luke. As in, like, the original Luke. From
Is he called the other Luke?
Yeah, but this email's not quite... this actually is a really long email. Luke, you sending really long emails.
Should we save that one for the next one?
I
don't want to cut him short, but we can't really fit them all.
We can't really fit them all in,
episode.
can we? Let's come back to that one next episode, and we'll do again. We've got another 2 emails from the same person, so we'll do the first one from Ian, and then we'll have to go and die in a corner. Dear Mr. Chris Day and Mr. Matt Day, congratulations for the year of the biggest damnedest of casts. So will I get a refund for those hours wasted? Yes. Because it was free, so have all that free back.
Yeah.
Sorry it took so long, as I don't want to sum up that show. Empress of Mars 6 out of 10, 8 Years of Light 6 out of 10, World Enough in Time 8 out of 10, Doctor Fall 6 out of 10. Okay. Do I feel S11 needs to be like S1, where there's been a gap for the Chris Marshall incarnation?
Well, this was an old email.
I actually don't know what that means. I'll be quite disappointed if 13 isn't Chris now. Actually. Which now it wasn't. It's winter, isn't it? People keep saying winter is here, so I assume the new Doctor is called Winter. The Matt meltdown when Chris dropped that American Gods bombshell about National Treasure himself maybe playing the role has to be my new favourite moment. Sorry for the long email, but now a fact, I will never get my emails read out again. I've never seen any Spider-Man movie.
Well, I just feel bad for you. There's 6 of them, and 3 of them are really good and worth watching.
Yeah. Go and watch a Spider-Man movie.
Go watch a Spider-Man movie, yo.
We're gonna get back to the. We've got 3 more emails to get through. We'll get back to them next week, where we will have less things to talk about anyway.
Yeah.
We'll catch up on your emails and your tweets.
Hang on, no, we won't. San Diego Comic-Con will have started.
Fuck me. We're just gonna have to do a long podcast.
We are. We're gonna have to sit down with a pipe, probably a crack pipe, and just record. Like you read about in Record magazine.
But we'll have more time to record next week, I think, because of the way our schedules have been this week. I think that's mainly the point. Because it's actually past midnight right now when we're recording this, and I have neighbours. And
I have cream to apply.
And you have to go home.
Do I?
Well, Chris, no, you don't have to go home.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
Oh. Yo.
Yo.
Oh.
I'll get the butter, shall I?
And I'll cream up the broom. Join us next week for another Big Damcast. Hit us up on the Big Damcast at Twitter, at Big Damcast, or on the Big Dam channel on YouTube. We've got loads of stuff coming up. We're going to go now and spoon.
We're going to go and play I'm Natasha Henstridge. Remember, kids, if you want to play I'm Natasha Henstridge at home, play it safe.
If anyone gets that reference, I'll buy them a drink.
Assuming they're a legal age, of course.
Capri Sun, I didn't specify the drink.
Some of you are far too young to be listening to this. I'm just putting that out there.
But
I mean, we're glad you do.
Yeah.
But I feel bad. Like we're corrupting the nation's youth or something.
Hey, you must have listened to or watched stuff that you weren't meant to when you were, like, in your mid-teens.
Yeah, like Pokemon. That was for kids.
When I said what you're not meant to watch, I didn't mean that it came with a seizure warning of one episode.
You are actually too old to be watching this. Please stop.
Yeah. Bye! Oh.